Hello! Wild Rose is a middle-end Extreme Demon collaboration created by Galaxies, Lexicat, Para, and Starkey the Salad. This Extreme Demon is one of many Extreme Demons that use a Breakcore genre song, and unlike some other Extreme Demons that use Breakcore songs, this one is actually really good. Anyways, sit back, relax, we're blasting Sewer Slut this summer, and let's get into the tutorial. Alright, hello everyone, it's me again. Today we're gonna be playing Wild Rose by Galaxies. The only other Galaxies level I've ever played is Misfire, and I did like Misfire. Wild Rose is a Breakcore type level, and the Breakcore levels in this game tend to have a specific kind of gameplay style. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go into Wild Rose and tell you guys how to play it. Alright, so the beginning part of Wild Rose isn't truly that bad. Some of these timings are pretty awkward, but this entire pre-drop, honestly, I wouldn't bother really learning in start positions unless you want to be over-prepared. Most of your time playing this level will be spent in this pre-drop, so it'll just come naturally as you play it, especially considering how long this pre-drop is compared to the rest of the level. This ship part right here is reliant a lot on your holding and releasing. You shouldn't really over-click that much in this part because it'll truly just mess you up and some of your alignment. So yeah, just make sure you're controlling your clicks a lot in this ship part right here. And stuff like this, you don't want to like try to straight fly, you want to kind of just curve like this. Like kind of follow the spikes with your ship, if that makes sense. And then right here, this is the drop. This first click right here can be buffered, and then you kind of want to click as fast as possible for this green orb. Not super quick that you're buffering it, but this orb is a lot easier than it lets on, because if you look at the hitbox, it's like kind of low. Time that green orb early. These first two clicks can be a bit awkward just because of how weird they are. And then this blue orb right here, just hit it in the middle. So this beginning part of the drop isn't that bad. It's probably the easiest to learn part. You can skip the first and fourth blue orb of the spam section right here if you time it correctly, like that. But if you really just want to, I just did spacebar and whatever your main input button is, jitter clicking, and it still worked. The part wasn't that bad. Something I'd highly recommend is learning this level in layout mode, because the foreground, background, and all the effects just do get in the way a lot of this level. Honestly, it's pretty damn difficult to tell what you're doing if you don't know how the gameplay is. So this ship part right here isn't really too hard, but it can be confusing. I would hold down this black orb until I reach the blue portal, let go a bit before the blue portal. I would hold into this yellow portal, release just for a small fraction of a second, and then correct it so that I would hold to the end here. That is a really cool ship control part, and it's very necessary to know your ship control for that part. The rest of this part, though, is pretty fine, as long as you learn it in layout mode or just in slow motion. All right, right here, this wave part is pretty difficult. I would recommend practicing it a lot. This is one of the parts that will kill you a lot if you don't practice it. And it's still not that hard of a part, especially if you look at it like right now when I have it speed hacked. But trust me when I say that a lot of these parts are just, they're not difficult, but they're kind of awkward and just, they come at you out of nowhere, if that makes sense. And then like this wave part too, it's not too bad. You can see how light some of these gaps are. Like I said, if you don't practice it enough, it'll be a really bad choke point for you. Now here comes the ending part of the level. The ending part is definitely the most chokeable part in the entire level, and I don't blame anyone if they don't fluke this level because of how just difficult the section is. Like this ship part right here. This ship part right here is very hard, and if you don't die here, that's surprising. I didn't die here, and I don't know how. By the way, this dual split right here, what I did was I clicked once upon entering the portal like this, and then I would just click again and then just fly straight up like this so that I could do this. If you wanted to though, you could just do that, like one click, release, and then just go like this. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as you do something. But yeah, this dual ship was confusing, and it's just because where you have to go is marked, but it's not really clear that you have to go there still. And then this last cube section right here is very, very difficult. You're definitely gonna die here if you're not prepared at all. You should definitely practice this ending because this cube part is very, very difficult. By the way, the last click right here, this green orb inside the yellow portal, if you buffer the green orb before it, you'll always make this click. If you hit it late like this click just becomes harder. So yeah, just make sure you buffer the click before it because, you know, you'll align yourself better. Anyways, yeah, that was Wild Rose. Wild Rose is pretty good. I do recommend it for certain players. I pretty much just do recommend this level in general. Yeah, this level is pretty good. It's pretty fun. If you're bad at relatively high CPS levels or just don't like fast-paced levels, effect-based levels, then I definitely wouldn't go for this. But it's still a pretty good level. I do recommend it. It's good for learning timings and choke points. It's also pretty good for stamina. But yeah, other than that, I have nothing else to say about Wild Rose.
My god.
Okay. Alright, that was Wild Rose. I had a really interesting experience with Wild Rose since when I beat it, I was beating it in secret, but also when I beat it randomly. What I mean to say is that when I was initially going for this level, I wasn't even going for it. I was just doing runs on it just because I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't think I was going to push all the way and beat it, but I was just doing random runs in layout mode. I think the first run I did that was pretty good was like 50 to 100, and I was like, oh shit, I did 50 to 100. It's pretty cool. But no, as I played it more and more, it just became easier and easier for me to play, and it got to a point where I was doing drop to 100 like every 10 attempts, so I was just like, damn man, I might as well just fucking beat it. But yeah, I just decided to randomly go into the actual level one day. I played it from 0 for like 2 hours. I got to the drop like 7 times and then I beat it. And I was like, yeah, it's whatever. This is one of my better flukes on Extreme Demon 2 because I fluked one of the hard parts. So, you know, it's pretty nice. Alright, anyways, in terms of enjoyment, I gave Wild Rose a 6.5 out of 10. This level has objectively good gameplay. The gameplay is really solid, and there's not really notable choke points, at least in my opinion. There's just difficulty spikes, but I wouldn't say there's a solid choke point in the level. The gameplay does flow together pretty well. I just personally am not a fan of the gameplay, but it executes it really well. I gotta give it credit where credit's due. If there is a part of the level that irks me a bit, it's the pre-drop. The pre-drop isn't really that hard, like I said in the tutorial, but it's just really annoying to play. A lot of the timings and just the ship part can just be awkward to control, and you can lose control very easily in those parts, but yeah, other than that, the gameplay is pretty solid. I just didn't like it that much personally. In terms of decoration, I gave Wild Rose a 7.5 out of 10. I always say this, I love modern design, and I just also love effect design levels, and this level's both of them. I just thought this level was too cluttered in a few parts, namely the drop and all that, but there were some parts of the level that were really cool. For example, the second half of the level is really, really cool, and the pre-drop, I really like the ship part in the pre-drop. The ship part in the pre-drop is really, really nice. Yeah, but no, that's all I have to say about Wild Rose. It's a very solid level. I do recommend it for basically every kind of Extreme Demon player. But yeah, other than that, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.